Damu Kiwe Conversation. The only place you gonna get it is the only place you gonna get Big U.
Wes. Welcome to the Damu Kiwe Conversation. Voice of the West Coast. The voice of the culture. Duse M's the done. Y'all already know. It's a big old W on here. When I get up on here, I got the West on my back. So, representing Cali the right way. So, before we even get into this content, condolences to the Henley family. We lost Huey. You know what I'm saying? Big U lost his son. He's in jail, already fighting a fight of his life. And now this. Listen, man, we got to do better, blacks. We definitely got to do better. And if it calls for us to have to put down demonstrations on brothers in our community that unalive other brothers, then that's what we need to start doing. When they come to jail, that's what we need to start doing. If you go to the LA County jail and you in there for unaliving another brother and your life wasn't in danger, you hunted down another brother, we need to start holding y'all accountable. Maybe some of these niggas that think they gangsters realize they not really cut like that without a knife. But in any other, moving on though, we got the content. But before we get to the content, we're gonna give 5 seconds of silence for the fallen. 5 seconds of silence. Prayers to everybody. So, listen, man. SBGB TV provided substantial assistance on 29 keys of the cocoa. See, yesterday was check. And I told y'all it was a 2-step fools, man. You know, like if you play chess, you know what I'm saying? There's something called a 3-step fools, mate. You know what I'm saying? Well, this one ain't just a 3-step fools, mate. It's even better. A 2-step fools, mate. So this clown, a vlogger, alleged to be a vlogger, I believe he has a different agenda. I know he's working. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Fuck the speculation. We gonna get right to it. Let's get to the content. You know what I'm saying? So remember, Delaware State Police arrest Smyrna man for felony drug possessions at casino. So he went live last night and try to shrug off the fact that he left his kids and all of this stuff. Oh, William Briscoe, Bill Briscoe, or Donnie Brasco. Yeah, I think it's closer to Donnie Brasco. Donnie Brasco. You know what I'm saying? And he had the coke guy spotted out the drugs is hanging out his jacket sleeve. And he talked about my teeth, D-flat. He talked about I was broke, D-flat. The subject matter, and that code over there, they're the dumbest motherfuckers on planet Earth, man. They like a cult behind this loser and didn't even know his real name, right? Sending them their money, he's bamboozling them, an old grifter, right? And come to find out, this wasn't his only time. You know, he had a possession of controlled substance tier 3 quantity felony, which ranges from 2 to 25 years in Delaware. But William Briscoe is his name, right? So we're going to close that out. And I'm going to put you on the gang. I'm going to put you on the gang. Show me where the Bloods at, where the Crips at. Show you where they piss crack. Let me put you on the gang. I'm going to put you on the gang. Let me put you on the gang. I'm going to put you on the gang. My unit is the real. With my La Familia, I would kill you. I know the boy face not familiar, but you got to feel him if Big you with him. In the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit, right? William Briscoe, a.k.a. Skip. We didn't know about old Skip. William Briscoe. We're going to have to search for some more stuff, but this one puts him to bed. Checkmate. Appeal from the United States District Court for the Middle District of California, right? William Briscoe appeals the district court's denial of his motion to reduce his sentence, pursuant to 18 U.S.C. subsection 3582C2, based on Amendment 782 to the sentencing guideline. The district court concluded that it was without authority to reduce Briscoe's subsection 3582C2 motion. After review, we vacate the district court's order and remand so the district court may determine whether discretionary reduction of Briscoe's sentence on count 1 would be appropriate, right? So, conviction and original total sentence. In 2010, Briscoe pled guilty to one count of conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and to distribute 5 kilograms or more of cocaine in violation of 21 U.S.C. subsection 841A1, B1A, double I, and 846 count 1 and 2. One count of possessing a firearm during and in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime in violation of 18 U.S.C. subsection 924C1 and 2, count 2. So, for y'all that don't know, the 924C has a mandatory minimum. This one of, I think, 5 years. My 924C, I was convicted of it in the feds, was a 924C for brandishing. So it was an 84-month mandatory minimum to be ran consecutively, bow-legged, with the time for the bank robbery. So I got 3 years for bank robbery, 7 years for the gun. At sentencing, the district court calculated Briscoe's offense level of 34 for count 1. Pursuant to United States sentencing guidelines subsection 2D1.1 C3 2009, because Briscoe's drug offense involved between 22 and 29 kilograms of cocaine. Briscoe's total offense level initially was 31, and his criminal history category was 4, which yielded an advisory guideline range of 151 months to 188 months imprisonment on count 1. That's just for the dope. However, the district court granted the government's motion for a downward departure based on Briscoe's substantial assistance and departed by five offense levels, bringing Briscoe's total offense level to 26 the district court determined that Briscoe's resulting advisory guidelines range was 92 to 115 months imprisonment on count one. So if y'all didn't catch that, this is the meat on the bones. The government filed a motion to the district court. The assistant United States attorney in the case filed a motion on behalf of Briscoe, on behalf of the square from Delaware. He done got caught up. He dumb as a sack of bricks, right? Big baller. I'm moving keys. And he got the U.S. Attorney General, federal prosecutor, filing a motion to depart downward, to give him lesser time based on Briscoe's substantial assistance. And they departed by 5 offense levels, bringing Briscoe's total offense level to 26. The district court determined that Briscoe's resulting advisory guideline range was 92 to 115 months imprisonment on count one. So 92 months, you saying 84 months would be seven years, and then you got 84 months, and then you got 6 more months. So 7 years, 6 months to 115 months, which would be like 9 years and 7 months. You know what I'm saying? So he's in a range something way smoother for his substantial assistance to the prosecution. What kind of assistance is you giving the prosecutor in the case? Oh, this is nasty work, right? The district court imposed a 92-month sentence. Okay, he got the low end on count one and a mandatory 60-month consecutive sentence. I told y'all it's bow-legged because it's a mandatory minimum, right? Required by 924C 1AI on count two for a total sentence of 152 months. The district court credited Briscoe for just under 9 months, which Briscoe had already served to be calculated by the Bureau of Prisons. Substantial assistance reduction and amended judgment. In January 2014, the government filed a motion to further reduce Briscoe's sentence on count one. The government filed another motion to depart and take more time off for Briscoe based on count one for his continued substantial assistance, which means the nigga was still working. He trying to knock that thing all the way down. It's going down. It's going down pursuant to United States Sentencing Guideline Section 5K1. I know a lot of y'all don't understand paperwork. 18 USC subsection 3553E and Rule 35B. Oh, yeah, man. He's helped and assisted in getting other people arrested. He's helping and working for the authorities, the feds, bro. Go Google United States Sentencing Guideline subsection 5K1 and see what you got to do to get that downward departure. Click this, go Google it, 5K1, and you can ask ChatGPT. You know what I'm saying? And then ask about a Rule 35B. According to the Rule 35B motion, Briscoe testified at his co-defendant's state murder trial, after which the co-defendant was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. This is the type of nigga that y'all over there supporting. He get caught with his co-defendant, with the work, did the crime, but he's so narcissistic, he's so selfish that he couldn't. Why would I do a dime when I can send a friend to do life? He testified. The square from Delaware testified, snitched on his co-defendant, and testified on his state murder trial. And they received, his co-defendant was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. At a March 2014 hearing, the district court, in the oral order, granted the government's motion and issued an amended judgment. The amended judgment stated that Briscoe was committed to the BOP custody to serve a total term of 60 months as to counts 1 and 2 of the indictment. Well, he couldn't get under the 60 months unless he cooperated. So they ate away all the time he had for the gun shit. For the dope, and just gave him the time for the gun. As to counts 1 and 2 of the indictment, consisting of a term of time served, as to count 1, and a term of 60 months, as to count 2, to run consecutive to count 1. Section 3582, a motion for sentence reduction. On March 5th, Briscoe filed a pro se 3582C2 motion to reduce his sentence on count 1 based on Amendment 782 to the sentencing guideline. After the federal defender was appointed to represent him, Briscoe filed a second counsel subsection 3582C2 motion based on Amendment 782 on February 10, 2016. Briscoe contended that his time served sentence on count 1 was actually a 1,612-day sentence, of which he had not yet served any portion because the law required him to serve his 924C sentence on count 2. Briscoe attached a BOP sentence computation indicating that 1, Briscoe had served 1,612 days when the district court amended his sentence for count 1 to time served. 2, he faced a total term of 60 months plus 1,612 days, or 9 years and approximately 5 months. And 3, his full term of imprisonment, excluding any good time credits, would expire on March 27, 2019. The district court denied Briscoe's Section 3582C2 motion. The district court concluded that Briscoe was ineligible for Amendment 782 relief because the district court had reduced his cocaine conspiracy offense sentence for count 1 to time served, but Briscoe was then only serving the firearm offense sentence for count 2. Thus, the district court concluded that it had no authority to further reduce Briscoe's sentence based on the U.S. sentencing guidelines, subsection 1B110, B2C, prohibition on reducing the term of imprisonment to less than the term the defendant had already served. Discussion. A district court may modify a defendant's term of imprisonment if the defendant was sentenced based on a sentencing range that had subsequently been lowered by the Sentencing Commission. 18 U.S.C. subsection 3582C2. Amendment 782 provides a 2-level reduction in the base offense level for most drug quantities listed in the drug quantity table in the U.S. Sentencing Guidelines, subsection 2D1. See U.S. and they cite cases. In no event may the reduced term of imprisonment be less than the term of imprisonment the defendant has already served. Under 18 U.S.C. 924C, a person convicted of using, carrying, or possessing a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence or a drug trafficking crime must be sentenced to a mandatory minimum of 5 years, 60 months of imprisonment. That statute also states that no term of imprisonment imposed on a person under this subsection shall run concurrently with any other term of imprisonment imposed, including any term of imprisonment imposed for the drug trafficking crime during which the firearm was possessed. While subsection 924C does not specify in what order the various sentences should run, the legislative history to the addition of subsection 924C1D provides that the committee intends that the mandatory sentence under the revised subsection 924C be served prior to the start of the sentence for the underlying or any other offense. This court has concluded in both the direct appeal context and the habeas context that a mandatory consecutive sentence under 924C must be served before any other sentence for the companion crime of violence or drug trafficking offense. See Jackson versus U.S. The legislative history and the words of the legislation indicate that Congress intended that the 5-year non-parolable sentence be served first, followed by the sentence for the underlying offense. Concluding based on Jackson that the district court erred in sentencing Brundage to serve his 5-year sentence for violating section 924C, excuse me, after the sentence for counts 1 and 2, but determining that the error was harmless because unlike the defendant in Jackson, Brundage did not show how his non-parolable sentence for counts 1 and 2 could be shortened. Briscoe's claim. As a preliminary matter, it is undisputed that after Amendment 782, Briscoe's base offense level for 34 for cocaine conspiracy offense in count 1 would be lowered to 32, and consequently, his advisory guidelines range would be reduced from 151 to 188 months imprisonment to 121 to 151 months imprisonment. Therefore, Amendment 782 does lower Briscoe's advisory guidelines range on the cocaine conspiracy offense in count 1. The question then is whether the district court was correct that Briscoe's sentence on count 1 could not be reduced because it was already served within the meaning of USSG 1B110. We conclude that the district court was not correct and that Briscoe was eligible for Section 3582 sentence reduction on count 1. Under this court's precedent, Briscoe had to serve his mandatory 60-month 924C sentence on count 2 before serving his cocaine conspiracy sentence on count 1. See Jackson and Brundage. Briscoe was sentenced in July 2010 and was given approximately 9 months credit for pretrial detention. Thus, when Briscoe filed his pro se 3582C2 motion on March 23, 2015, he had not already served and possibly may have not even began to serve his count 1 sentence. Moreover, in light of this court's precedent, we construe the district court March 2014 amended judgment reducing Briscoe's 92-month sentence on count 1 to time served to mean that Briscoe's count 1 sentence was reduced to an amount of time equal to the time Briscoe had already served, pursuant to the original judgment. On count 2, that is to 1,612 days, or roughly 54 months. In other words, Briscoe is presently serving the time remaining on his count 1 sentence of 1,612 days. For the reasons U.S. Sentencing Guideline 1B110 did not prohibit the district court from granting Briscoe's Section 3582C2 motion. Accordingly, we vacate the district court's order denying Briscoe's 3582C2 motion, and we remand for the district court to consider whether and to what extent to reduce Briscoe's sentence on count one. Because Briscoe received a substantial assistance reduction from his original 92-month sentence on count one, on remand, the district court should consider whether a comparable reduction to the amended advisory guideline range is appropriate. But we express no view on the matter. We further note that because the BOP indicates that Briscoe is currently scheduled for release July 18, 2018, the district court should expedite its handling of Briscoe's 3582C2 motion, vacated and remanded back to the district court for resentencing. Listen, man, this is the type of shit that got going on. All these niggas that be, the streets is a mess. The streets is dead. We just lost a brother to gun violence last night, and you telling me the streets is dead? That's not why we don't work with the government in the first place. Has nothing to do with being a dope dealer or a crip or a blood. It comes from not working with the slave master, the slave catcher. But DZ, as the square from Delaware, he's an exception. He chose to work with them people and put his crimey in jail for life. Told on the highway. Nasty motherfucking work, man. Nasty work. But y'all hit that like button. Subscribe if you ain't already subscribed. We on a journey to 10K subs. 10K subs. We about 900 away. Share. Tell a friend. We out here, though. Damu Kiwe Conversations. Let's go.